Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're taking a look at Scarlet Witch's brand new uniform with her at tier 3. We're going to do a lot of World Boss and World Boss Legend content here, but I wanted to start off with Squad Battle, which I think is probably the best comparison to ABX, because Scarlet Witch actually apparently, well, not apparently, she should be better than Captain Marvel for ABX. And so we can't replicate ABX right now because it is combat female, and it's actually going to take almost 2 weeks. It's going to take about 10 or 11 days for it to rotate back to universal female hero. So we won't be able to see how much better she is than Captain Marvel until then. She should be a lot better because she's a lot better than CM when it comes to every other piece of content: World Boss Ultimate, World Boss Legend, Squad Battle. But Squad Battle is the most arcade-like game mode, especially when you get to the third round, which we're about to get to here. I just wanted to show you a little bit of gameplay. I actually misplayed this a little bit. I was supposed to start with Nick. I was supposed to have Nick Fury ready to go so I could switch over to him. But let's just go ahead and unleash all of this on Surtur and see what we can make out of this rotation. I've heard some people that have been pretty happy with her Squad Battle performance. Oh, her okay, her skill got canceled. Not really the nicest thing. Her third skill got canceled here. Her third skill is obviously really good for Squad Battle because you can move around, so that's what makes it so good. And you can cancel her tier 3 as soon as she slams the ground there. Those orbs have those meteors have a life of their own, which is really cool. But we just want to make sure we're applying that accumulation, and we're actually already at 4 million, which is really nice. Keep in mind that Pierce does affect Squad Battle, so if your scores are lower and you don't have any Pierce, that's why my scores have definitely increased. It's like 100 to 200,000 for each 2% Pierce that you get. It really does just add like a uniform amount, even if you play exactly the same way. You don't need to change the build whatsoever. It really just adds to your score. But yeah, we're already clocking here 6 million and change, and we actually kind of misplayed that because we could have gotten the accumulation during the butterfly effect, and that would have bumped up our score even more. We can pop this here, pop this here, and then pop the 2 to get the accumulation going for the next round, and there we go. And we're at 7 and change, and this is my first time running her in Squad Battle, so take that for what you will. I've not practiced with her at all, but she's already crushing 8 million. I usually get around 9 million and change with Luna, but she also uses White Fox, whereas Scarlet doesn't take advantage of White Fox. So I feel like this is actually a really good showing for her. Not bad. So 8.3 million, not bad at all. I could definitely clean that up. I could have saved one more orb going into the third round, and I also could have set myself up in the third round at the beginning by dropping Nick Fury's 5th skill and then switching to Scarlet Witch. So I think she could actually get near 9 million, which I honestly think for the amount of Pierce that I have is quite a competitive score. Now, I'm going to go over her build pretty quickly here before we go into some Knull and other action, but I do want to address one thing about this build. Unlike, you know, Professor X's new uniform, unlike Iron Man's new uniform, or even Vision's new uniform, this uniform isn't going to seem as amazing for Scarlet Witch because she was already quite good. You know, Iron Man Infinity War was basically not doing any content before he got his superior Iron Man uniform. Vision wasn't doing any content with his Uncanny uniform before he got this new one for WandaVision. Wanda, on the other hand, she could do stage 99 World Boss already without any Pierce, right? Without any Pierce, I was doing stage 99 with this uniform. So because the jump, because she already started from such a high height, the jump up is not going to seem as good. On top of that, the one thing I do want to address with this old uniform, there's a bunch of changes. There's accumulation that they added, there's new buffs, there's new passives, right? Her passive is better now, or it's the same. But anyways, the big one here, or actually this passive is different. The big one here is that her 4th skill, Power of Chaos, it went from 5 seconds of mind control down to 2 seconds of mind control. Now you might be saying, but Alex, Westview citizens were mind controlled for weeks. Yes, I know, but Marvel Future Fight didn't interpret it that way. Anyways, so it's only 2 seconds. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong skill. It's only 2 seconds of mind control. That is going to make her seem possibly worse against Ebony and Knull because she can't lock them down indefinitely. And not as much for Knull, but for Ebony, he likes to iframe a lot. And when he iframes, he ignores your skill's damage, right? And he applies a 99% damage reduction. So I'll show you here. We'll go into... We'll basically do the run side by side, and you can see how they perform. So just to recap the build, we've got 2 Odin's Blessings on her, and the rest is just 5-star Uru. Pretty straightforward. We've got rank 4 type enhancement, which, as she's universal now, matters more for content like Mephisto, etc. Her Power of Angry Hulk is stage 10, and then she's got a CTP of Judgment. I do think Judgment is the best CTP for her now. Rage can definitely still work for her. Maybe you can get away with an Obelisk, but honestly, I think an Obelisk or an Energy is going to give you a lot of headache. She's got long cooldowns on some of her skills. Her rotation is going to be pretty complex. Rage or Judgment allows you to play much more freely and allows you to just maximize her damage with her 2, 3, and 4 whenever you can, and then just sprinkle in her 5 as necessary. Pretty straightforward here with new Uni Scarlet. You're just going to do 2 into 4 into 5 into 3, and you get the mind control and you get all this damage, and you do a pretty decent amount. You do a pretty nice burst, but the mind control only lasts 2 seconds, so eventually he breaks out of it and then he does his own thing. So you go over and you mind control him back as fast as you can, but actually he rejects the mind control, so I pop my tier 3, sad days, he iframes again, and as you can see, this sort of continues, and it makes her damage look really bad. You see I'm doing 1 damage because he's got a buff he gives himself when he iframes. So he's actually going to interrupt a lot of my damage. There's not really much you can do about this. It's just part of the fight, and that's why actually a lot of characters struggle against Ebony. It's not because he deals a ton of damage or he's really tanky, it's just because he iframes a lot, and he's kind of a coward about it. So we're gonna do the best we can here. We've got a nice buildup of damage, so we get a really nice burst here. But if he decides to iframe, because Scarlet herself doesn't have that many iframes, that's how long it takes. So this is pretty straightforward. It takes her about a minute. If you compare this to her old uniform, as I'm about to do, here's what you're gonna see. So with her old uniform, you don't have to do the second skill at all, or at least not at the beginning, because she has no accumulation. So you're basically just going to stack everything on 3 after doing 4 and 5. You can do these, but you can basically mind control him infinitely. And as you can see here, he's not doing that purple phase, and he's basically not doing anything because he's trapped in the mind control. Now, at the half 8, he's still going to do this cutscene, so I never bother mind controlling or tier 3ing just before that part of the fight. But we can actually just pop the tier 3 here. And then as soon as she throws them, you actually have to wait with this old uniform. You have to wait for her to throw them. Then I can mind control him and begin basically doing the same thing over again. And, okay, he iframed once there. I just got kind of unlucky. But as you can see, we're doing this as fast, if not faster, than her old uniform. And that shouldn't be the case, right? So as you can see, that was 5 seconds faster. It could be like 10 seconds faster. So her old uni is better? No, it's really not better at all. But in order to show you that, because Ebony is not iframing, you actually have to take her into different content. So we're going to go into Knull stage 9 now, and I'm going to show you how she plays here with her old uniform versus her new uniform just for the first half of the fight. Okay, so now all defense down and mind control don't matter anymore because you can't mind control, you can't all defense down Knull. Not that all defense down actually mattered with the old or new uniform either, but it really just matters the raw damage, and that's why the accumulation on her second skill is actually so important. We're going to dodge this first cage, and the damage is pretty good. As you can see, it's not bad, right? It's not bad. It's good. It's good. For stage 9, for the amount of pierce that I have, this is pretty good. Obviously, your results may vary depending on what build you have, but this is pretty good here. We're going to pop the tier 3. As soon as the rocks come up, we can cancel into this. And so you can see there, she does it in about 45 seconds, 43 seconds. Again, if I were to play out this whole fight, you'll get a better idea of how much better her new uniform is. But now let's switch over to her new uniform. I don't like doing these comparisons that much anymore because I can really just kind of tell that some uniforms are better or not. Like we could just tell that Maker's wasn't that good. This uniform is obviously head and shoulders above her old uniform, but for some people it's not. We actually got our third skill canceled, so that was not good here. Okay, we actually got stunned as well. This is actually a really bad run, but I'm going to play it out anyways, just to show you guys. that the damage is just way different. You can kind of just tell. Okay, well, all right, so it only seems like it's about 15 seconds faster, but we got snared by both tornadoes. Let me try this one more time. We'll do a full run here. She's much better against Knull now. That's really the big takeaway from this uniform, is she's going to perform much better in content where her all defense down and her mind control doesn't matter. So she might not be as like cheesy good against world bosses, but on the flip side, she is going to rip through content now because her accumulation is going to allow her to do so much more damage. So we're going to pop this, pop this, pop this. Go ahead and pop this. Ooh, and there we go. So that was almost 20 seconds faster. And this is going to continue throughout the whole fight. But there you go. That was a much better run. A full 20 seconds faster is a big deal against Knull. That means it's at least one stage faster. Again, might not mean much to you, but it's a pretty big deal for her. Makes her much more viable against Knull and Mephisto. And the typing is also really important. Oh, I got my buffs removed. That was really bad. Bang. Skips the phase. So much better now. This is not even one of my best runs, but we'll play through it anyways. She's very fun to play, as always, but the skills are just gorgeous and well worth the investment of your time. Oh, I actually canceled the tier 3 a little bit too early. Yeah, this is a bit of a sloppy run here, Alex. Yeah, I actually canceled the tier 3 too early. I also got my my buffs removed. Just casual. Oh, we didn't skip the dragon phase? Wow. And then we just killed Valkyrie. This is one of my sloppiest runs. This is a sloppy Joe of a run, my goodness. But yeah, her damage is bonkers. It's really good. Nah, despite my attempts, look at how much damage he needed to skip that, right? That was annoying. Anyways, despite my attempts to make Wanda look average, she is anything but. Now we're gonna have a bit of an issue here because of I think we're fine actually. We're fine. Yeah. See, she just powers through this like an absolute champion. So she can actually do the 100-second challenge just like her husband, Vision. She can do the 100-second challenge against Knull stage 9, which is really good. But now let me show you what she does against Mephisto, because it's really fun. All right, here we go against Mephisto. We're gonna do 2, 5, 4, which is the correct rotation. I'm gonna do my best to play this one properly. We're gonna do a wrap around with the 3, go into the 4 there, do that, do that, do that, do the 5 here. Very nice. Okay, we're on the next phase. Nice. Okay, good. Really good stuff. Okay, here, 2, 1, and we're gonna pop that. Do that, do that, do that. So much damage. Crazy AoE. Really good stuff. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Just ripping through. And the really cool thing about Wanda specifically is that she's gonna have an extra hit basically at the end of her tier 3. So it's those butterflies, right? Some people actually didn't like the butterflies, but the butterflies come in at the end of the skill. These ones, he's iframing right now, so it's kind of a bummer we don't get to use them, but she's flying through the stage. It's unfortunate that Mephisto and Knull both penalize female characters. They both have restrictions in the teens for non-male characters, for female characters. But yeah, that burst basically means that on your first proc with the tier 3, you're gonna hit these rocks, right? And then on the next proc afterwards, once they've bursted and everything, you're actually gonna come back around and hit them. See, and you hit them with the butterflies. It's really cool. I love it. Okay, he just canceled my tier 3 there, which is kind of unfortunate. But what we can do is we can kind of just troll Mephisto because of her 3rd skill. So we're just gonna wrap around him with the 3rd skill. We're not even gonna care about the timer here. Boom. Haha. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. So good. She just trolls him completely. Oh, so good. So she actually cleared that in 2 minutes, and he interrupted one of my tier 3 skills, so I could actually do that faster. She's not the best character in the game, I would say. It's sort of an awkward jump in the, you know, it's kind of a non sequitur. I was saying how fun she is, but you know, here's what I'm trying to say. Really fun character now, more than ever. You get to see Quicksilver, you get to see tornadoes, you get to see all this really cool WandaVision type skill animations. I think she's going to be the best female universal hero, but I can't prove that in the video, so I don't want to harp on it too much. We really just have to wait for ABX Day to come around. Besides that, obviously, I think she can put up monster scores. Maybe not as good as Luna, because Luna gets to tap into Nick Fury and White Fox, but I think she'll be maybe second or third there. And in squad battle, I'm saying right down there. And then she can tap into scores and clear speed as good, if not better, than Odin, which is someone that she's in a comparable cost bracket to, also being a universal, being a native tier 2, 1600 CCF, etc. The only thing is Odin costs crystals to buy, whereas Scarlet Witch, you got to build up Quicksilver and I believe Cable through the world boss mechanic. So yeah, I do think she's a really strong character. She may not seem really OP because of all the characters we've gotten recently, and because she's competing in a very, very tight race with all these other really strong characters, and male characters in general are being highlighted for climbing Knull and Mephisto past stage 9. But I think, you know, she is very comparable to characters that are coming out recently, but also powerhouses from the past, you know, 6 months, 12 months of updates, like Odin, like I said, and other characters. So I do think she's really, really good. I do think that you're going to need to maybe tweak her build a little bit. But yeah, I'm really happy that we got such a crazy rework and such a really cool rework as far as the animations go for her and Vision. And although Vision or Human Torch might be stealing the show, I still think that she's got a lot to offer. So yeah, that's sort of like how I feel about the character. Some people are just gonna nitpick and see, oh well, she's slower for regular world boss, so she's worse. No, but she's also not the best for Knull and Mephisto. No, right? So they're gonna sort of find a way to downplay her value that way. I think she's awesome. So yeah, that's sort of my rant about Scarlet Witch. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Scarlet Witch. It was pretty off script as far as my usual explanation of a character goes. It's more about how I see the character and how I feel about the character versus, you know, the hard testing, because it hasn't been that long, and also because there's a lot of characters now occupying the same space where their value is sort of very relative to one another. So it's harder to really suss out which one is head and shoulder, you know, which one is actually better when it comes down to it. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Scarlet Witch with the new uniform. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.